Media is calling on South Africans to unite in helping those most in need during this coronavirus pandemic. Any amount of money that you can give will certainly help someone out there. Well, thanks to your contributions so far, we have managed to raise over 1.6 million rand. ENC's Lindsay Dentlinger asked HCI Foundation trustee Dr. Corin Abel about the role of the foundation.
As a foundation that gives to underprivileged and deprived communities and has done since 2006, when a crisis like this happens, we have to step up. And as we lock down, we have to light up, actually. And that's not just us, the foundation. It's the whole of humankind. It's our communities. It's our country. And I think the country really has done well. I think the President has done amazingly well and set a great example for us. And I think this is the time for people really to understand how difficult it is for so many in dire straits who don't have an income, who can't rely on handouts even, and how important it is for us at this time to be giving and to be sharing.
In terms of getting people to donate, to pledge to the fund that eMedia Investments has set up, what is your message to them? As you said, it's important to step up at a time when people are locked down.
I think that, you know, the fund is fantastic because it focuses specifically on food and on provision of food. I think we need to understand that when schools are closed, that doesn't just mean learning stops, it means feeding stops. So many children rely on a meal at school to get them through. When school holidays happen, those children often go very, very hungry. And this is like an extended non-holiday, but with the same effect. And somehow we have to find those children and we have to feed them. And we have to do that for the elderly as well, who can't go out, who can't rely on other sources to get food. And so that's why our focus here has been on the elderly and on children in really disadvantaged communities and in rural communities where there isn't anything going on at all. I think that the foundation and for people who want to give to the foundation need to know that we have a good track record, an excellent track record in the way we distribute funds. We are very careful, we monitor, we account for everything that we give, and we will continue to do that with absolute integrity.
Just as your background as a social worker, what does it mean to you to be charitable?
You know, I think we in our family had a saying, charity begins at home. And you have to start to open up your heart, whoever you are. And I think people do want to open up their hearts. Being charitable means to understand the plight of others, to have empathy with others. And at a time like this, we really need to have that empathy, regardless of our own circumstances. And I love the fact that people want to give. That is our nature. We want to be able to do something. And this gives people who can't go out there and help the opportunity to give.
So many people perhaps are a little bit more fortunate than others, but still not very fortunate and still want to be able to contribute. What do you say to those who have very little themselves but still want to make a contribution to this fund, to the people that this fund is trying to help?
I think that if you want to make a contribution, even a message of hope, even if you give 10 rand, that is something you feel you could do. So I wouldn't like to deprive people of funds that they need desperately. So I absolutely don't say to people who have got nothing, you still have to give. That's not what it's about. It's about what your heart tells you to do. And there are other funds. We're not the only one. People have other ways of giving, and there are other ways of giving. You can make a phone call, you can speak to people who might be down and out, but this is just one way. And if you want to feel you're making a contribution, 10 rand, that's good enough. Most of us in lockdown don't have the opportunity to wander the streets and see what's going on. I mean, we might go to the shops once a week and see that there are people in the streets still. We don't see really what's happening in the townships. And when you see the footage of what is happening in the townships, it's really dire and it's really scary. And you know, somebody saying, how can I be locked down in a room with 6 other people, 10 other people? It's an impossibility. And I think we need to really understand that, you know, that it's not going to get easier. It really isn't. And I don't have the answers, but I only know that we have to then, within ourselves, find a way to be helpful and a way to be giving and a way to be loving. And I do think it's a time for us to come together and forget about all the petty arguments and the petty disagreements and find ways of connecting with each other.
Well, I can tell you just the latest figures coming through from the call centre. We now have raised over 1.7 million rand there, and it is still coming. So I would imagine we'll get closer to that 2 million mark before those lines close tonight.